Hello adventurers, it's your man Zero here, your favorite hero. Guys, Acambe has been announced. Let's hop in, take a look at him, see if he's going to be worth it. He does seem like he's going to be a very greedy character, and we'll go over his kind of skills and stuff like that, which kind of help you understand why that would be the case. All right, so here we have Acambe. This is at his base level, level 1, rank 0. Okay, let's look at this first. And I just want to touch base on his main trait and as well as his main introduction skill. So here we have his main trait. And click it, where Acambe's attack increases by 5%, his max energy is increased to 7, so that way he's able to contain up to 7 energy. And for every 3 energy he owned, he additionally gains 1 energy at the end of the turn. So right there, he's able to replenish 2 energy at the end of every single turn, because of course his cap is quite a bit higher. When Shadow Assassin is present on the battlefield, he gains a secret signal, and the cooldown for this is 5 turns. So when it comes to Shadow Assassin and secret signal, the Shadow Assassin is the unit that you can actually summon onto the battlefield for you, which is very interesting, very similar to like Inanna, but of course he's actually able to summon up to like 9 assassins, while Inanna I think is maximum of like 2 defenders, right? So here we have a summoned unit that provides assisting attack leaving the battlefield after a specific amount of rounds, which is different than Inanna because of course in Anna she is actually able to keep that unit in the battle for the entire duration or until they die. Then we got Secret Signal, which is a skill that allows Shadow Assassin to cast Corporeal Blade immediately once they're being summoned. So that means that basically when you use the skill, it's an instant ability. You summon in a assassin, they are instantly able to do an attack. So it is an instant attack essentially. Here we actually can see where the value is. Now let's look at the cost of everything. This is where things start to get kind of crazy. Let's take a look at the actual summon for Shadow Assassin. It's a support instant ability. Acambe summons 1 Shadow Assassin to the target location that cannot be controlled. It inherits 85% of Acambe's attack and 20% of its defense and HP. Each time the Shadow Assassin is defeated, the cooldown of this skill is increased by 1 turn, and the skill can be cast up to 2 times per round. So you can summon 2 assassins per round. So this is when we start getting into the whale territory. I'm nowhere near this either, so don't be surprised. It's just this guy takes a lot of investment, so be prepared. If you are going for Acambe, he will be taking a long time to make ideal. But he is a strong unit in general. He's a one-man army. When it comes to him being in R5, and I guess I should say star 5, he actually completely changes. So when it comes to his trait, he is able to do a maximum of 9 energy in his inventory. That means now you can get 3 energy replenished per turn, and the cooldown for that actually decreases by 3 turns. And Acambe now is able to allow his assassins that he summons 15 additional % damage, which means that they're now up to 100% damage output for an instant skill ability. So he basically is able to do a ton of damage, and he's actually able to do some other pretty cool things too, which will go on in the actual skills. But this in itself, you can see his trait skyrockets in value quite dramatically, and he actually gains 3 initial energy right off the bat, which means of course faster regeneration, and he's able to use Shadow Assassin much quicker. Now let's go over these other 4 abilities here. So we have the Squanderer, which is a decision ability, which we did just see from Cocoa. She does have a decision ability, which basically means that you can use the ability and then you have options within that ability of other sub abilities within itself. So in this one, we have Greed leads to Ruin and Rich Rewards. For Greed leads to Ruin, it's an instant skill which allows you to sparkle gold coins at a target, and it draws all of your units to that one target, so that way they can do some damage to them. And it also inflicts move down 2, magic defense down 2, and it turns off the assist ability on the enemies. And this effect lasts for 2 turns. So pretty solid. And then when it comes to Rich Rewards, it is a skill. It restores 1 energy to the allies within 3 tiles around themselves and decreases their active skills cooldown by 1 turn, and grants attack up 2, defense up 2. And the summoned units also gain attack up 4. So that's huge. That's a lot of attack increase. And this skill lasts for 2 turns as well. Now let's go take a look at rewards and punishments. So this is his leader aura, where for all disciplined allies, in the battle, Acambe increases their attack by 10%, their defense by 20%, and their cooldowns of anything that is like 4 or more reduces by 1. So that's really, really nice. And additionally, it increases the damage dealt by all allied summoned units by 20%. So I'm hoping this actually also affects Inanna, because of course when her units are summoned units, so hopefully they'll get an extra 20% additional damage. I think she is part of the discipline class, but don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure. But if she is, that'll be huge. Okay, next up, let's talk about special clauses, which is a reaction ability. And when Acambe is under attack, if there are allied units around them, he's actually able to summon them to basically replace him, so that way they take the damage versus him. And this can be done 2 times per round. So pretty good. That's a really good defense ability. And finally, we have Burning Ridges, which is a magic damage ability that deals 90% of damage to anybody in the first row. So anybody in that lower row right there gets 90% of damage, and everybody else gets knocked back by 2 tiles. And also it summons shadow assistants per tile within 3x1 area at the front. So basically that front row, once everybody gets pushed back, that front gains a shadow assassin in it. As well as this does disable his energy regeneration by 2 turns. So this is exactly why you would need other people in your party with Acambe that actually do energy regeneration. So you're looking at Gloria, you're looking at Beryl, you're looking at Inanna. These characters can all replenish his energy with their abilities and be able to keep him basically fighting properly in the battlefield. Because if you don't have them replenishing him, he is not going to be able to keep going. He's just going to be like a one-shot pony, that kind of deal. And that's the abilities that are suggested by the actual devs. So now we're going to go take a look at what weapons are going to be beneficial for Acambe. Let's hop into the gear section. All right, so here we are. We got the weapon area, and here you can actually see all the different weapons that are suggested for him, because of course he is a destroyer unit, so he is going to be using rods. Now, if we go through, all of these are pretty solid. Of course, you're not going to be using a healer one because, well, he doesn't do money healing. When it comes to all these other ones that grant HP and stuff like that are pretty nice, but really what you want to look for Acambe is energy regeneration. And in order to do that, you're going to need the Cornucopia staff. So the Cornucopia staff, of course, this is what makes Acambe a little less free-to-play friendly, because of course this is a weapon that you get from buying the battle pass. So you're not going to be able to get it unless you're going to be spending money in the game. So if you got one of these, phenomenal. If not, then you're probably going to be going off to skeleton staff is probably going to be your next best bet, because of course when an ally is defeated, and of course when you have your assassins or your assistants in there and they pass away because they're going to be, you know, removed from the battlefield, I'm hoping that this means that this is going to be beneficial for Acambe, and hopefully that is, because this is probably going to be the only character that this is good for, if that is the case. But otherwise, the Cornucopia staff is going to be your best bet. It does recover 2 energy. There's a 40% chance to regain 2 energy at star level 1. So when you get this to star level 5 as an example, which you're looking at like 5 months of work and 5 months of buying the bow pass. So if that's something that you're interested in, go for the Gusto. Definitely a solid weapon to get. But of course, there are other characters that really benefit from the Cornucopia weapons. So maybe you want to, you know, really want to be specific to one specific weapon the whole time. I'm not sure, but this is the best in slot at this point. All right, when it comes to his trinket, you're probably going to want to go and actually get yourself some defense from distance users. And the reason why is because he is going to be more on the back end of the battlefield. So Mysterious Deflection Device is probably something that I would suggest actually putting on him. There might be other trinkets that come out in the future that might be a little bit more beneficial. I went through all of these. There's nothing really there that screams, hey, me. Nothing with energy regeneration that I've seen. So I think that this one is probably going to be your best bet. Now, when it comes to the actual tarot cards, guys, and I personally think that the best bang for your buck for Acambe is going to be the Guidance of the World, because of course he has that additional energy generation. And if you do get your tarot card up to level 60, you can get this additional attribute, which reduces the cooldown of all active skills by 1 turn when not actively using any active skills in standby. So you are speeding up your skills being available to you, as well as increasing your energy generation. So Guidance of the World seems like a no-brainer when it comes to Acambe, in my personal opinion. Otherwise, you could probably go and actually do like the basic similar ones that we've done already, like, you know, put on Temptation of the Devil, put on the Hermit, like basically any kind of use case for specific situations, like for the weapon quest and stuff like that. But in general, I think that the Guidance of the World is going to be your best in slot. And that's really it for this character in terms of like rundown. And in my opinion, this is going to be another one of those Cocoa characters, and it's going to be another one of those characters that you're going to have to put into your grind for your memory fragments. So this one is going to be a high investment, high reward situation. Personally, I think that Cocoa is the better of the two, just because she's able to heal your units and give you sustainability, while Acambe, it's a really cool skill. Like being able to summon all these assassins and just basically have assassins running around everywhere and doing all the damage for you, you become a one-man army, and that's very cool, especially in PvP. But I'm going to say it right now, hold tight. There will be other characters that are going to be really good, and Acambe is phenomenal, but in this game, try not to get FOMO, because all of these characters get added into your general pool, and they will come to you over time as you fail 50-50s. It's just bound to happen, so don't fret. If you do not get Acambe when you're doing these pulls, or you do not have the Luxite to get him, save your currency and save for another character that's going to be coming up in the future. And that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please do like, sub, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care, adventurers. Be well.